Pop-Tarts. Okay. Hold on a sec, guys. Okay, so, welcome back. Tekking here for another S-Class Hero discussion video. Ugh. Give me a second. Okay, hey everybody, let's try that again. Alright, welcome back to my S-Class Hero discussion series, and in today's episode, we will be looking at S-Rank 10 Pig God. Yes, the superhero whose ability is literally that he is fat. That's it. How does Pig God handle the monsters? He doesn't need some awesome, energy blast technique. Here I go, Diabetes Cannon! He doesn't need psychic abilities to lift up the monster and crush him like a soda can. He doesn't need to have, like, a utility belt. No. How does he deal with the monster threat incursion on the world? He literally eats them. He eats them, and then lets out a big, hearty, just burp of the century, and then just slowly waddles his way till the next... to the next monster threat. It'd be like if Homer Simpson became a superhero. Actually, wait, that already happened. Season 15, episode 19, Simple Simpson. What? I'm a huge Simpson fan. You didn't know that? I love The Simpsons. Yeah, ever since I was, like, in middle school. I'm a huge Simpson nut. But anyway, that's neither here nor there. Although, Homer Simpson might be... I should have called Dan Castellaneta if he wanted to appear in this episode, because, like, hey, you do a voiceover, that would help me a lot. So, moving forward with the S-Rank Hero videos, you're gonna probably see them a lot more frequently. Normally, I did these, like, once a month or so, but that's because I started with the heroes that we knew a lot about, like Tatsumaki and Silverfang, Atomic Samurai. They got a lot of screen time in the series up to this point, so there was a lot of stuff I actually had to talk about, as well as with their powers being rather interesting and all these different unique skills and stuff they have, and also their personalities are also very different. I'm not saying there aren't heroes left that I haven't covered yet, like there's Child Emperor and Metal Knight, but I'm going to be saving those for the end, kind of like cap it all off with Metal Knight. But for the most part, a lot of the S-Rank heroes we have left are ones that we haven't really seen that much of, so the videos are going to be relatively short, but that's not a bad thing because I can get them out, and then after the S-Rank heroes, we can move on to other discussions in One Punch Man. We could talk about some of the A-Rank heroes. I know some people wanted me to talk about a My Mask. I'll be talking about a My Mask, unfortunately, but I'll be talking about him. I want to do discussions on various villains and monsters, like Boros. I want to do a big, huge, god-level Boros discussion videos. So, just prepare your giant, bulbous alien eyeball for those videos. But for this video, we're talking about Pig God. Alright, so when Pig God first shows up, it's at the S-Class meeting in City A at the Hero Association HQ, right before Boros launches his awesome, alien epic invasion. There's an equally epic meeting going on of all the S-Class heroes in the Hero Association to try to talk about this prophecy that Madame Shababawa spoke of, and this is really where we get to see all of them gathered together, save for Metal Knight and Blast, who are absent. All of the other S-Class heroes are here, and it's this really, like, bombastic music that's playing in the background as we go down the line of all the heroes, like, here's Genos, the demon cyborg, here's Metal Bat, and we see him, just this Yusuke Urameshi-looking dude hanging out with the pompadour and a bat. Then we have Flashy Flash, this wicked, beyond the speed of sound ninja dude. He's very stoic, he's just sitting there waiting. And then we get Tank Top Master, giant rippling muscles, right before we get to Pig God. Pig God is ranked 10, which, hey, top 10 heroes out of the S-Class, I'm just saying, that's a big deal. Even though you're number 10, you're still in the top 10. Right before we get to rank 10, we get rank 11, Super Alloy Darkshine, who is this even bigger muscles than Puri Puri Prisoner and Tank Top Master put together. This Olympian god, just, only wearing a Speedo, just like, yeah, people are checking out my guns, oh yeah! And then right next to him, we have this huge, morbidly obese, sweaty dude sitting on a chair that had to be specially made by Metal Knight out of, like, adamantine or something, just having a giant bag of Big Macs that he's just shoving... It's just, that's great. Now, you have a lot to know. Do not judge a hero by their appearance alone. I think Watchdog Man is a perfect example of that. You see him, you're like, what the hell is, like, Garo? Like, what the hell is this? Like, furry? What the hell? And then he gets his ass kicked. So, don't doubt Pig Gods just based on appearance. Then we go down the line, we have Drive Night, and Zombie Man was sitting there like, oh man, everyone's gathered. No. I wonder what this meeting's gonna be about. No. Must be something of mass importance. No, my god, doesn't that pig ever stop eating? Well, his name is Pig God, Zombie Man. I mean, they wouldn't have... You think they just give him that name just for fun? Which, by the way, you think that you would be insulted by that, you know? Like, your hero name is Pig God. Like... Oh, come on, dude, really? Like, I know my superpower is literally I just go around and eat things. But come on, there's no need to be a dick about it, jeez! But anyway, I guess he doesn't really care. Unfortunately, Pig God does not take part in the fight against the Dark Matter Thieves. He instead, it's implied later on in one of the OVAs that he goes off to try to help other towns while the aliens are attacking City A. But, you know, I'm sure he would have helped out a little bit. See, the thing about Pig God is we don't really know anything about him in the anime. In the anime, he really might as well just be the fat one, you know, that just hangs out and shovels, you know, chips and hot dogs and burgers and steaks and pizza into his mouth all day. In the Murata version of the comic, and even the webcomic doesn't really go into this all that much. But in the Murata version, it actually is kind of explained that he does have a strong sense of duty and justice, and that he is actively trying to be a hero. It's not like he's just sitting around all day in his house and just like a monster attack's going on outside and he's just like, oh, water, giant dragon stomping around, destroying the town. Alright, I'll get to it. Just let me finish my Pringles. No, he does have a sense of duty. He went out of his way to, you know, like, physically exhausting for him to run over to try to find Child Emperor to help him fight against that Medusa Gorgon-looking monster. You know, like he did have, like, alright, I'm gonna go and try to save him, you know, and he was just basically busting through walls as he was going, so he has a large amount of strength as well as a powerful palate. You know, just break, he's like, well, this was the quickest way here, so I just walked through a bunch of buildings, basically. And then, you know, you have the giant monster that excretes poison, that's its ability. And so, you know, Child Emperor's like, we gotta figure out a way to defeat this thing, you know, because it uses poison, we have to stay away from it. And Pig Hog's just like, hold on a second. And he just walks over to the thing and just grabs it and just, and just like a freaking snake, just unhinging its fucking jaw, just devours this thing like an udon noodle, like, oh, okay, we're good. And Child Emperor's off to the side like, what the hell? How did you do that? That thing was poisonous. Are you okay? And he's just like, wait, hold on. Lets out a burp and he's like, yeah, it seems like it's settling down. It doesn't seem like my stomach is really that upset. Alright, on to the next one, you know, and he just kind of walks away to the next battle. And it's like, okay, whatever. But I did like that scene, because it did show that he is a hero. It's not like that just, you know, I like Twinkies. That's his only character trait, okay? It's also, by the way, important to mention in that fight, as I said, not only did Pig God manage to consume this monster who was poisonous, but was bitten several times by the snakes, and the poison just didn't affect him. Which, the only thing I can think of there is that he just has so much fat on his body that the fangs just didn't penetrate down deep enough to hit his blood vessels, and like that's how poison works. Poison gets injected into your body, damages your, you know, gets into your blood vessels and fucks with your nerves, and it just, there's so many layers of thick fat on him. It's like a Pokemon ability. It's like you're freaking trying to attack a Snorlax, you know, it's not gonna work. You know, just gonna get repelled there. But yeah, I did enjoy that fight. And then later on, in the Monster Invasion arc in the webcomic, he takes on the Great Food Tub, which is this monster that's basically an equivalent of him, this giant monster that's like a boar that consumes a lot of food, and Pig God just eats that thing without much of a problem there. Later on, Pig God is defeated by Gums, which is this giant pink gooey thing with a mouth and teeth and looks like if some like a mascot from an orthodontic, you know, office run by a mad scientist would have broken free, you know? But the Gums defeats Pig God, and we don't really get to see Pig God for the rest of that fight with the Monster Association, although he does show up later, and this is also something to kind of give you an idea of, like, the fact that how seriously he takes his hero job. When all of the heroes were recovering in the hospital after the fight with the Monster Association, Pig God was like, I have to get back to the battlefield because there's a monster that was there that probably is still around. And he's, of course, referring to evil natural water. That, like, water elemental, you know, gooey substance thing that didn't really have a consciousness of its own, but it had incredible regenerative capabilities, and it basically attacked anything based off, like, you know, like it sensed negative emotions or, like, that kind of stuff, like the atmosphere it attacked. So Pig God was like, that thing probably still exists. I need to eat it because that's the only way to destroy it. If I eat it, it gets into my body and then my digestive fluids can, you know, properly break it down. So he leaves the hospital while he's still injured, finds evil natural water, eats it, and then it tries to break out of him. It's shooting its water jets, like, out of its body, and he's, like, bleeding all over the place. He's like, all right, we're good. And then it's just like, really? Are you good? But that's still, I mean, that's a cool scene there with him. Okay, and that's pretty much all we have from Pig God. From what he's done in the story, that's it. He had a little bit more action in the Murata version, but in the webcomic, all he really got was devouring Great Food Tub, and then after that, Gums pretty much took him out, and then he was pretty much out of the rest of the fight. So that kind of sucks there. I hope, like, in the Murata version, when they go to the Monster Association invasion, we've seen him there, next to Tatsumaki and Super Alloy, that, you know, they're already at the Hero Association, they're prepped, they're ready to go whenever they give the signal to invade the Monster Association. So hopefully he'll get more of an awesome fight there. But I like to come up with little, you know, little fan fictions about how these, you know, like a little background, like how these characters became heroes, you know? And the one I came up for Pig God, the reason I figured he became a hero is this is basically what happened, alright? So Pig God, prior to becoming an S-Class hero, because it's been stated before that the Hero Association, you know, that's just the people that enlist to become heroes. There's still plenty of civilians out in the world that are on the level of S-Class heroes. Sonic is an example, Suryu is an example of characters that are really strong on that level, they just have no interest in becoming heroes. So that's what I think happened with Pig God. I think Pig God was around, and what he did was, in order to pay his bills, his massive food bills and everything, he kept winning eating contests. That's what he did. He didn't have a steady job. He just journeyed from city to city and just devoured whatever eating contest they were having that day. You know, it doesn't matter. Hot dog eating contest, chili contest, cook-off, pie eating contest, whatever it was. Pig God just shows up and just nom nom, takes the cash money, spends it on food, and then just wanders to the next eating contest. And that's just how he lives his life, you know, from eating contest to eating contest. And then, one day, when he was in the middle of an eating contest, there was a monster attack at the city he was, you know, eating at, and he didn't even notice. He didn't even notice the monster attack was going on. And it wasn't like a low-time wolf-level threat, either. This thing was like a demon or above level threat that was demolishing this city, and you know, all the other entries in the eating contest, they left, you know, let's just call it a pie eating contest, you know, they're eating the pies, like, oh crap, a demon level threat, they all leave, whole city's in panic, emergency sirens are going off, and meanwhile, Pig God doesn't even pay attention. Pig God's just sitting there like, pie, cherry, strawberry, and then the monster, the demon level threat, sees Pig God and is like, whoa, what are you doing, fatso, just hanging out here eating pie? And without even realizing what he did, kind of like when Big Mom, you know, consumed Mother Caramel in One Piece, Pig God's just sitting there like, and then the demon level threat strikes out his arm like, what are you doing? What the hell? Oh my god! Oh my, oh man, that pie was a little juicy, whatever. And he just keeps eating, and everybody in the surrounding area sees this and is like, well, holy shit, okay, threat's over. That guy just ate a demon-level threat, and then that's when the Hero Association got in touch, and they found out about this, and like, sir, Mr. God, we would like you to become a member of the Hero Association. We'll offer you a spot, S-Class, right out of the gate. And Pig God, because you know he's not passing the freaking physical exams, you know? I'd like to see him do, like, the vertical leaps and the, you know, the 100-mile dash and shit. So you know he didn't get in that way. But you see the Hero Association sees how he just, well, it's unorthodox, but it's effectual. We gotta give him that much. You know, he succeeded in taking out a demon level threat. You know, okay, weird, but let's just give him the rank. And once you become S-class, you can the Hero Association can create things for you to increase your hero needs. Like Metal Bat asked for an indestructible baseball bat. Super Alloy asked for giant weights, like super heavy weights to lift. Pig God just asked for like 1,000 boxed lunches like every day, like a tremendous amount of food. And it's probably one of the things like in Toriko, if you've ever read Toriko, like Toriko has to keep eating a tremendous amount of food. His metabolism is so ridiculously high that if Toriko stops eating for like a few hours, his body starts to starve to death. So it's probably the same thing with Pig God. He has to keep constantly eating, or else his body would, you know, begin to massively shut down. I don't think this is going to be a thing in a lot of other anime where like in Choji in Naruto, where he's really fat, but then he has a special ability that he triggers that gets him really thin and really, you know, buff and ready to fight. Fat Gum in My Hero Academia is the same way. I don't think we're going to get that with Pig God. I think Pig God's whole thing is he's a giant, obese, just a bottomless pit stomach with this incredibly powerful digestive juices that can destroy pretty much anything. And it's just a fat guy superhero. That's kind of the thing that they're going with here. And so that's probably what we're gonna have. You know, and of course, my backstory might have not actually happened. Probably didn't, but I think that would be a fun way. And any S-class hero we get that we don't really know much about, I'm gonna throw in, like, a backstory there to keep it a little bit more interesting, to add a little bit more intrigue to it, to get the video a little bit longer. But yeah, as for Pig God, I would just say, yeah, I mean, he does have his limits. You know, I would say physical damage is one. I would assume that the fat also works as kind of like a shock absorption, like Fat Gum in My Hero Academia. So, you know, someone breaks out a punch, it's just like, BAM! And it just, boom, 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 boom. You're gonna have to try better than that, buddy. It's like, chomp. So, you know, that could work to some degree, but there's limits to even that. I would assume things like cutting attacks would probably be able to affect him. You know, he doesn't have anything like psychic abilities or any sort of magic powers he can rely on. He's not very fast. His speed is very low. It just really comes down to close quarters combat with Pig God. You know, he gets close enough to you to grab you, because I'm sure he has pretty strong grip strength when he throws you into his mouth, and he's chewing you up, and even if he doesn't chew you, even if he just swallows you whole, once you get trapped in there, there's no coming out. You know, his digestive juices are, like, you know, raised up to, like, maximum possible degree, basically, like Majin Buu kind of levels here. So yeah, he's an interesting design character. It's one of those, you know, don't judge a book by his cover, most certainly. But yeah, what do you guys think about Pig God? Comment below. The next S-class hero that we will be discussing will be Drive Knight, rank 9. And I got some very interesting things I want to say about him. He seems like a really cool character. His ties with the organization, his little tactical armament thing he's got. A lot of stuff really cool to talk about with Drive Knight. So catch you back here next time. Thanks for watching, everybody. Tekking101 signing out. This video has made me incredibly hungry. Like, I'm not going to eat all of this, but I'm going to eat some of this. Alright, later, guys.